So if they're to hear that DeSantis sent in somebody to arrest the hotel owner over a drag show, that is a story that is way too easily spun to make it seem like DeSantis is some authoritarian bigot. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka TheIndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Let's party, but not with drag queens in front of children, because that will get your liquor license taken away. What am I talking about? Well, DeSantis brought down the hammer. And you know what? Let's just have Tim tell us what is going on.
Get woke, go broke in quite possibly the best way possible. Now, we sit back and we cross our fingers that when these companies do horrible things with their insane cult ideology, they suffer the consequences of that. But sometimes it doesn't happen. And that's why I say get woke, go broke is not a law, it's a tendency. But now we have direct intervention from a real leader, Ron DeSantis from businessinsider.com. It brings me great joy to read you this headline. DeSantis administration revokes Hyatt Regency Miami alcohol license after it hosted a drag queen Christmas. I got no problems with drag queens. I got no problem with burlesque. I got no problem with strippers.
I agree. When it comes to drag or go-go dancing or burlesque or any of those things, not personally for me. I've been to a strip club maybe 2 or 3 times. Not really my scene. But if that's what you like to do and you are an adult, great. The problem is the children. Why is there such a push to get this stuff in front of children? There's no other reason except to G room. There's no other reason. And finally, Ron DeSantis, when this Hyatt Regency did this drag show and let children in, finally faced some consequences.
I got no problem with people who are consenting adults that want to have adult entertainment. But when you bring kids into adult entertainment, when you bring in adult entertainers for children, you have crossed the line. Drag is basically LGBT burlesque, and you wouldn't bring a kid to a burlesque show. It's also akin to go-go dancing, and you wouldn't bring go-go dancers to story time, would you? Nope. No, go-go dancers aren't naked. Yeah, but it's still inappropriate, and y'all know it.
Even Hooters. Like, what would be the point of having a Hooters story time? Why would that be appropriate?
The DeSantis administration is revoking the Hyatt Regency Miami's alcohol license after one of its facilities hosted a drag queen Christmas with minors present in the audience. The Department of Business and Professional Regulation filed a 17-page complaint Tuesday against the show's venue, the James L. Knight Center, which is affiliated with the Hyatt. The show required people under 18 to be accompanied by an adult as a condition of being allowed to attend. Do you know what that means? That means they know it's an adult show.
Yep.
A Drag Queen Christmas is a holiday-themed drag show that tours in 36 different cities and features stars from the reality RuPaul's Drag Race.
I was wondering, I was like, it's March. Why are they doing drag in Christmas? I mean, like, maybe there was something with dressing up as you're not really, something you're not really, and it's not really Christmas. I don't know. But I guess because it's touring, then it just goes year round.
It also had overt sexual, let's just say, acts in the show. The state's business department accused the facility of several violations, including a prohibition of lascivious exhibition before people younger than 16, though it's not clear to what extent this law is generally enforced.
Usually, it's not at all. Usually, it's not enforced, but it's actively suppressed. And these actions are encouraged. That's what usually happens.
The department said performers were wearing sexually suggesting clothing and prosthetic female genitalia, as well as simulating
kid-friendly all the way.
And I also believe this was the show where the two men thrust into each other, right? The least that Ron DeSantis could have done was revoke their alcohol license. So we have this administrative complaint. Petitioner is the state agency charged with regulating alcohol beverages and tobacco pursuant to Chapter 210, blah, blah, blah.
So Tim, when he was talking about this on his live show, he was kind of mad that DeSantis didn't go far enough and saying that this is, a slap on the wrist. But anybody who knows anything about the food service industry, a liquor license is gold. Mostly anything that you do, because of the markup on alcohol. I mean, just think about the prices you pay for drinks at your dive bar versus your liquor store. Now, think in a Hyatt Regency that's putting on some gala or some ball or some conference or something. There's going to be a lot of people there to buy alcohol, and every single purchase is a lot of money. So even though it's just a hotel and their alcohol is not their main source of income, this is a big hit. And furthermore, to other places like bars where alcohol is their major way of income, it sends a strong message not to put on a drag show where children are allowed.
I want to make sure we can. Here's what they say. On or about December 27, 2022, respondent hosted a drag queen Christmas on its licensed premises, during which respondent served alcoholic beverages to patrons in attendance. Now that's interesting. You brought children into an adult performance with alcohol. That's interesting.
How dare you?
Respondent promoted the show using targeted Christmas-themed promotional materials, and that did not provide notice as to the sexually explicit nature of the show's performances or other content.
Well, it's a drag show, right? So maybe the people putting on the drag show assumed that everybody attending the drag show would understand that it being a drag show, it would be sexually explicit. Maybe the reason they didn't specifically say, hey, this show is going to have adult themes, is because that is implied. And this idea that drag is just performance art is a load of crap. Maybe.
Oh man, they got exhibits prior to the show occurring.
He's a poet.
And based on media reports about the show at other locations, petitioner sent a letter to respondent notifying respondent that sexually explicit drag show performances constitute public nuisances, lewd activity, and disorderly conduct when minors are in attendance. And if respondent failed to ensure that minors were prohibited from attending such performances, its license would be subject to penalties up to and including revocation. They told them outright, if you let kids into a sex show, we take away your license. And they did. And now you lose your license. Although respondent updated its advertising to include a disclaimer that the show was recommended for audiences 18 plus. Respondent's admission policy specifically allowed for minor children to attend if accompanied by an adult. As a result, minors attended and were knowingly admitted into the show by respondent. During the show and in the presence of persons less than 16 years of age, performers appeared on stage wearing sexually suggestive clothing and prosthetic female genitalia.
This goes back to something that we were talking about with the parents. And the fact that this Munchausen by proxy syndrome is going wild with parents wanting to be special. And having a trans child or a non-binary child or a queer child or whatever makes you special. And so there's a lot of parents who are pushing their kids into this for their own benefit and maybe not even consciously. So as much as we have to hold the organizers accountable, as much as we have to hold the activists accountable, we absolutely have to hold the parents accountable as well. In the same way that if you went to the strip club and you saw some dude with his young kid, young boy, young girl there, you would not be happy about that. You would want something done about that.
The show featured numerous segments where performers engaged in acts of sexual conduct, simulated sexual activity, and lewd, vulgar, and indecent displays, including but not limited to A. Performers forcibly penetrating or rubbing their exposed prosthetic female breasts against the faces or oral cavities of audience members.
Guys, this one is so getting demonetized. Please, if you can help out with a super thanks, that would be amazing.
These are all in the exhibits. Intentionally exposing performers' prosthetic female breasts and genitalia to the audience. Intentionally exposing performers' buttocks to the audience. Simulating masturbation through performers digitally penetrating prosthetic. Wow. I don't even know if I can read these things on YouTube. Graphic depictions of childbirth and or abortion. Additionally, the videos were projected on screens behind the performers. The videos included images of exposed female breasts and less than a fully opaque covering, portrayals of simulated masturbation and other sexually explicit content.
And the reason that I'm showing you this, the reason that I want you to see the boring, boilerplate law stuff is to know exactly what's going on so that you can't be fooled into thinking that this is harmless fun. It is not harmless fun. Not when children are involved.
These people are pedophiles. This is outright saying it. They were told no kids. They were showing children sexual content. I don't know what else you would call that other than pedophilia and grooming.
Yep.
The show also contains explicit themes and prurient content presented through perverted versions of popular children's Christmas songs. These included an adaptation of All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth that contained portrayals of oral, as well as the line, I'll sit on his lap and he can put his milk and cookies all between my gap. The show also featured a performance from Screwdolph, the red-nippled reindeer, which included the following lyrics. I can't read this.
So let's fast forward a little bit. And, he's going through this. You get the point. They were doing a lot of stuff that they shouldn't have been doing in front of children. And they did it anyway. And they let children in knowing what was going on. All of that stuff. I want to get back to Tim's reaction to all of this.
Give full power to the authority to revoke, suspend a license of any person holding a license under the beverage law. Revoke their entire business license. This is the Hyatt. Okay, you're shut down. 6 months suspension. Everybody GTFO. I'm just sick of it. Look, I love the headline. I love that they did some kind of executive action. How about this, Ron? How about you send in state police and arrest the manager of this facility for hosting a school event for children?
I'll tell you why I don't agree with that. This is the culture war. This is all about what the mob thinks. This is all about what the NPC bot people think. Now, most people are not going to watch this video or Tim's video. They're not going to know what went on at that drag show. They're just going to hear that it was a drag show. So if they're to hear that DeSantis sent in somebody to arrest the hotel owner over a drag show, that is a story that is way too easily spun to make it seem like DeSantis is some, authoritarian bigot. I think doing what he did was exactly what he should have done. It was, in a sense, a slap on the wrist, but it wasn't a mild slap on the wrist. It showed that there are dire consequences to doing this, that we are serious about stopping this, and that we're not playing around, but we're not bigoted. We just don't want you to be corrupting our children. It's just that simple. And that message would have been muddied purposely by the mainstream media if the cops had been sent in. That's my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments below.
It's that simple. Arrest him.
Nope.
Walk in. Any cop can do it. Arrest him. Are there any cops near this jurisdiction in Miami who have balls to take it upon themselves to just go in, ask for the manager, ask, were you the manager present on this night in question? Turn around, place your hands behind the back. Take the initiative. I've seen cops arrest people at their own discretion. Here you go. It's right here in front of you. Deal with the district attorney and the crybaby politicians and the bureaucracy after the fact. After a cop says, I am willing, based on this document, to take it upon myself to issue an arrest.
Now, I don't disagree with him that this is worthy of being arrested. My point is that the optics are not worth it.
If a guy had an event inviting children and then showed sex to those kids, should that person be arrested?
Yes.
I can hear the collective yes from all of you. So Ron DeSantis, why isn't it happening?
For the reasons I just told you. And I think that is exactly what DeSantis was thinking. That, hey, if those of us who know what's really good here understand that this is an arrestable offense. But the problem is most people have no idea. Most people aren't in the weeds. Most people aren't reading the lewd acts that went on in front of children. So all they're going to see is, oh, poor me. I'm just a drag queen and I just want to share my art with the world and I got arrested. That's what they're going to see. You're going to get a whole new wave of LGBT victimhood and sob stories, and you're going to pour fuel on the flame of that entire argument, and that is not what you want to do. So I don't know. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Tim? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for partnering with me once again, guys. I am your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.